Is Steve Harvey a top 20 comic? That was a question that was asked to me by a group of comedians. We're trying to figure out what the top 20 was. And the answer is I don't know. I'd actually have to make a list to see if Steve Harvey falls on it. But what's interesting was I found, especially with the younger comics, they said no right away. They kind of only knew him as the Family Feud guy. And yeah, well, that's what his career has blossomed into as the face of Family Feud in his own talk show. Don't get it twisted. Steve Harvey was a master of the craft. And I found this clip online, and I want to break it down for you to show you why he's such a master of the art of stand-up comedy. So I'm about to show you the clip before I break it down. And it's a 9-minute clip, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, look in the description. I'll put a link to the time when the actual breakdown starts. But hey, guys, let's get into it.
Black people handle getting fired different from white folk. You can't fire us the same. It ain't gonna go good. See, the difference between firing black people and white people is this. When you fire white people, they don't ever see it coming. What are you talking about? What are you, nuts? For crying out loud. For the love of God. For Pete's sake. Oh, they got a list of shit they go down when they think their ass is gone. Because they can't believe they're getting fired. See, black people, on the other hand, we figure, well, any day now. My ass ought to be out of here. See, we know if there's some firing going on, we first. So we pretty much expect it. I know what I'm talking about because I done had a lot of jobs before I got into this right here. I done had probably 10, 11 jobs. Out of them 10, 11 jobs, I've been fired probably 10, 11 times. I had this one job, last job I had, I was selling insurance. I had this boss named Tom. Tom was white. I liked Tom. Tom was fair. That's what I liked about him. He was just a fair man. I had never had a beef with him. Tom was gonna fire this white guy named Bob. I like Bob. I used to go to lunch with Bob, met Bob's family. Bob was a nice guy. So Tom came out the office one morning to fire Bob. Bob was just sitting there. See, right away, if I see Tom walk into my desk, I perk up. Because this could be it. Bob ain't even looked up. Tom walked his ass out there. Your boss' ass is kind of tight anyway. I don't know why that is. They always walk like somebody pushing them, I don't know why their ass be tight. I don't know if they scared somebody gonna break something off in it or what. But it just looked like somebody pushing them in the ass all the time. And he walked this tight ass out up to Bob's desk and he walked over there. Hey, Bob? Bob, can I see you in my office for a moment, please? Bob said, sure thing, Tom. Bob stood right up, walked right into Tom's office and said, Tom, you wanted to see me? What the hell do you mean does he want to see you? He just walked out to your desk and said, Bob, can I see you in my office for a minute? What is this bullshit about? It's denial. He don't see it coming. And Tom proceeded to find Bob right by the book. Yo, Bob. At the board meeting this past week, and after going over the board, we were kind of looking at your evaluation. And well, to tell you the truth, you're just not cutting it. Tom, what are you saying? You know good and hell well what he's saying. Your ass is almost out of here. You see what the hell's going on, but denial. Tom said, listen to me. Bob, you're making this so difficult. I know you're going to have a tough time explaining this to Becky. But we're going to have to let you go. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Tom, what am I going to do? What about the mortgage? What about the children's college fund? Oh, Father God. Yeah, but when you go out there to fire Willie, it ain't going to go like that. See, believe me, when you go out there to fire Willie, you got to take a whole nother approach. Tom came out there one day to fire Willie, and I sat next to Willie. Willie was my boy for sure. So soon as Tom came out the office, me and Willie just went. Because we know something finna go down now. Tom walked his ass right up to Willie. Hey, Willie! Willie, can I see you in my office for a moment, please? What for? What the hell we going in the office for, Tom? You got something to tell me, you tell me right here. I got a desk right here. I ain't going in the office. You got something to tell Willie. You need to tell Willie right here. Now Tom know he got a problem. He know he got to get this altercation behind closed doors right now, because he know Willie finna show his whole ass. Oh, Willie finna act a damn fool out here. Willie finna tear up all these cubicles in this office. Something finna go down. So Tom Helm got his ass in office. Willie stood up, and before Willie walked in, Willie started walking around the desk talking to me. Willie saying, There's finna be some bullshit in here. Yeah, I know some bullshit when I see it. Yeah, buddy, What the hell he calling me in the office for? I've been here 12 years, bastard. Ain't never asked me to come in the damn office before. It's gonna be some shit in here. I'm gonna go in there. I'll go on in there, but I tell you what, better not be for what I think it is. I know that. So Willie walked right up in Tom's office. What's up, Tom? Tom tried to fire Willie just like he fired Bob. You know, Willie, we were at the board meeting last week, you know. We were going over your evaluation. What valuation? I ain't seen no goddamn valuation. When did you have evaluation? I wasn't there for it. Did you post it on the board in the cafeteria last week? I ain't seen nothing. I tell you right now, I ain't signing shit. Jesus, Willie! Come on, you're making this so difficult. All right then, Tom. Go ahead. Say it. Say it, Tom. Say it. Say it. Say it, Tom. Say it. Say it. You better not say what I think you about to say. Say it. Say I'm fired. Say I'm fired. I swear to God, I'll burn this motherfucker. Say it down. Say that I'll set this motherfucker on fire. Say it. You better not say I'm fired. Say I'm fired. Say it. Say it, Tom. Say it. I'll kill your kids. I'll kill your kids. I'll kill your kids, Tom. I'll kill your kids. Jesus, Willie. I know you're going to have a tough time explaining this to Wilhelmina. Oh, this ain't about no Wilhelmina. This about Willie Turner. Willie, we're going to have to let you go. Oh, no, the fuck you didn't. Oh, I know. You ain't finna let Willie Turner. Oh, don't nobody let Willie Turner go. That's bullshit. All right, fuck it. Give me a check. Give me a check. Give me my check. Give me a check. Give me my check. Don't play with my money. Give me a check. I said it. I swear to God. Give me a check. Give me a check. Willie, we've got 2 weeks to send you your money. You ain't got no 2 weeks with Willie Turner money. Give me my money now. Willie don't see the security that surrounded the building. Willie don't see the rifles aimed at his back. All Willie know is he ain't leaving here without his check. Now all you see is Willie getting drug out in some cup. Hey, TT, give him a check.
So there you have it. There's a joke by Steve Harvey. And I want to break down not necessarily the jokes in the bit themselves, although there are a lot of really good ones. My favorite is I had about 10, 11 jobs when fired from about 10 or 11 of them. I love that. Um, but I want to really dive into how Steve uses the stage and camera to set up tension in this bit. You see, there's an actual like scientific theory on humor called relief theory that is championed by my boy Freud that says that humor and laughter is caused by a release of tension, right? Almost like a bubble bursting. And Steve uses the stage magnificently to create this tension. Let's take an overhead look of the view of the stage, just so you see what it looks like here. So look at this amazing graphic I mocked up. But you see, you have one side completely empty. You have mic stand in the middle, a falling glass, which already primes you to like, okay, some crazy stuff is gonna happen, and the stool. Now, of course, the end goal of this bit is to knock the stool and the mic stand over. All right, let's get into it. So you see Steve, when Steve sets up the bit, he's on the right side of the stage, or the left side for him, the right side for us when we look at it from the audience. I have dubbed this on the map as the narration zone. This is the zone where Steve does most of his setup for the bit. Now, he does cross the line a little bit. The zones I'm about to show you, there's 3 of them, aren't like hard and fast true lines, but they exist because that's about where Steve stands for different parts of the bit. So when he's setting up, he stands to the right and does all the setup there, very far away from the stool and the mic stand. In fact, you don't even see the first shot of the stool into a minute 34 into the telling of the bit, still in the setup. You know, it goes into the building tension. You don't want to show the things that are important in the bit right away. We'll introduce them later. Now, for the next part of the bit, Steve moves into what it's like getting fired if you're white. And that takes place in here, just around the mic stand, as I have dubbed the white zone. So that's where most of that takes place. That's where the boss's office is. That's where, he's getting fired. Oh, for Pete's sake, it happens right about there. And the camera stays tight on him. So for most of it, you don't really see the stool. It's just the mic stand. After the white part is done, Steve moves back into the narration zone, as I've called it, where he talks about Willie, and he sets Willie up and how Willie's about to get fired. Now, the part with Willie getting fired is a great dance between the different zones of the stage. So now, most of when Willie gets fired takes place right in the middle, in between the stool and the mic stand, as I like to call the black zone. That's where he tells the black part of the bit. But what's interesting is when Willie's in the boss's office, the white boss, the parts of the bit that happen in the boss's office happen pretty much in the white zone. So now the stage is set. You know which part involves Willie, which part involves the boss and the white dude, and which part involves the setup. And as you see, Willie's part happens where you can see the stool and the mic stand. So now, the big parts of the bit, the parts that get the biggest laugh, the biggest eruption, now they're finally in frame and focused. So after minutes of setup, finally, when he's finally talking about Willie, you finally see everything you need to see that's going to be important in the bit. It's finally in frame. Took a long time to get there. That's part of the building the tension. So at 5:30, he does something interesting here. For most of the bit, Steve is moving along this one line in the front of the stage. You see there's a step, and in front of the stage, he's sort of pacing back and forth. He's on this one line, this plane, as you see on this map here. That line is pretty much the movement of Harvey. But at 5:30, Harvey breaks the plane and actually walks behind the mic stand and the stool. He starts from just left of the mic stand, goes through the back, around, and comes back on the same side of the mic stand. So here, let me map it out for you. This is the map of Harvey moving at around 5:20. This is the path he takes. Boom. Right. Now, I want to layer in the edge of the black zone on the right side. There, you see that, right? Now, this is the map of Harvey's movements, right? We see the plane in which he moves on, the edge of the black line, and that one time he moves off the plane at around 5.5 minutes. Now, let's shade in the space in the middle, and that is our tension bubble. And you see our tension bubble includes the stool, the glass, and the mic stand. So now, after minutes of the tension being built, it's finally released. And how do we pop the bubble? We push over the mic stand. We push over the stool. The tension is released. That's the biggest laughter in the joke. So the joke finishes. It finishes in the narration side. Steve does this really nifty move to pick up the mic stand, which I think is really cool with his foot. It's really solid. It's just professionalism. And then he ends the bit by walking over to the narration side to introduce the next bit. So there you have it. That's how Steve uses movement, camera work, and the stage, and the props on stage, the stool, the glass, the stand, to create a sense of tension and then to burst that tension. It took 9 minutes to do it all, and it's masterfully done. So is Steve Harvey a top 20 comedian? I don't know. Maybe one day we'll sit down and make a list. But that man is a master of the craft, using all these elements to create a great joke. Until next time, guys, this has been Stand Up Breakdown.